This video is not for whales and dolphins. It's for you, because you are just like me. Average Light Gamer here, and today we're going to talk about the new drip marketing. Anby and Trigger are coming. Let's go. So we're going to get into it in just a moment. Just before then, just super quickly, we're also going to talk about some meta implication stuff and also where this leaves the stars of Lyra. Timestamps in the description down below. So first things first, Anby. Anby equals dead Haramasa. Goodbye, Haramasa. I'm joking, of course, but not really. So I think that he'll probably get left in the dust a little bit by Anby coming out. However, what I will also say that for free-to-play and low-spend players, Anby Silver Soldier being an electric attack agent is actually probably not that bad because A, we already have Anby on our accounts, so, you know, Best Girl is already there. And then B, we already have a limited S-rank attack electric agent in Haramasa because we all got him for free. So does that make Anby 2 Electric Boogaloo a skip? Well, I mean, it kind of depends on how you're feeling about her. Like, she does seem pretty cool. The design is great from a waifu over meta perspective. If that's what you want to do, then you do you, buddy. But I think that right now, unless her scaling is like ridiculously good, she might actually be an easy skip. But she probably will have really good scaling built into her because they probably also will want us to use her for a long time into the future. So right now, it's probably too early to say whether or not you should or shouldn't be planning to pull for Anby. But I do think we're kind of in a pretty good position where we'll be able to kind of pick our attack agent of choice between Electric and Fire, between Evelyn and Anby, because they'll be running right next to each other at the end of 1.5 and into 1.6. So that is kind of cool. Let's move on. Let's talk about Trigger. So for Trigger, at this point, I'm going to guess probably more niche than Chingy, because Chingy's a very universal stun agent. So yes, electric stun agent. Trigger is electric stun agent, same as Chingy. But I imagine maybe she's going to work differently in some way. And I wonder if with this might be our first off-field stun agent, and maybe similar to the way that Bernice works as an off-field anomaly applier, that she can kind of mark the enemies in some way, and then she'll slowly raise the stun meter on them. Maybe she's sniping them from, you know, off-field or something. That sounds kind of interesting to me. Or potentially they might kind of make her work similarly to Lyra, where she buffs certain elements. Now, as an electric agent, I would imagine that she would buff electric damage if they go down that route. But with Lyra, they buffed 2 elements. So I wonder what that other element would be. You would think maybe fire because of Soldier 11, but then there is that overlap with Lyra, so that seems unlikely. Then, you know, we could also consider like other elements and potentially characters that are going to be coming down the line that she could potentially buff. So I would be hesitant to say it at this point as with any kind of confirmation, complete just out of my ass. But maybe she buffs electric and ether damage? Stay with me, and we'll talk about that more when we talk about reruns, because we'll probably be getting a Zhu Yuan rerun next patch as well. Lastly then, let's talk about Pulchra. So Pulchra seems to be the A rank as she's not moving in her marketing, and this lines up with what happened with Seth. He's, you know, like it's a default kind of still PNG, and that means that probably A rank. And also her marketing was released at the same time as Anby Silver Soldiers. So again, probably going to be the A rank on and running with Anby Silver Soldier. And that seems interesting. She's going to be a physical stun agent. I don't really think that that's a surprise. It seems mostly what we would have expected. I think physical does make sense. Would have been nice to see something other than the stun agent, especially considering that we're getting a Chingy rerun at the end of 1.5, and then we're getting a Trigger at the end of 1.6. So she's definitely going to be overshadowed, but she might work particularly well with other Sons of Kaladin teammates or something like that. And again, we'll talk about that when we talk about the reruns in just a moment. But before we move on to that, this is your reminder that you're probably not subscribed. Liking and subscribing is the best way to support small creators like me on YouTube. You can also drop me a follow on Twitch, then you'll be able to see my schedule for when I'm due to stream, etc. And you can join the Discord where you can hang out, ask for advice. It's a good, fun time. Anyway, reruns will likely continue into 1.6, and the big question is, where is Zhu Yuan? And I think that Zhu Yuan would probably rerun here in 1.6, but not in the first half, because the first half is going to have the electric attack agent of Anby Silver Soldier, so it doesn't really make sense to run 2 attack agents together. I would think that they would move Zhu Yuan to the second half of 1.6 and run her alongside Trigger, which is also kind of backing up the theory that Trigger might buff ether damage or might be a universal stun agent similar to Chingy, but that doesn't make sense. We'll talk about that some more again in a minute too. Back to the first half, though. So who do we think is rerunning in the first half? Now, considering that we're getting Pulchra in the first half with Anby, at least that's the working theory, then maybe we get another Sons of Kaladin agent to give her a solid Sons of Kaladin core. Caesar and Bernice were the earlier ones to run, Caesar being the earliest to run. So potentially I would see Caesar here. But we also are probably due a Jane rerun as well. So it could be Jane, but I could see them potentially prioritizing Caesar or Bernice maybe, with Pulchra coming in as the A rank there also. So that's the thoughts on the 1.6 reruns. Let's quickly back up though and talk about the Stars of Lyra in 1.5, because it feels like they're flying solo right now. There have been no follow-up units in 1.6, and the release of the drip marketing feels kind of scummy. Not gonna lie. Waiting until we're into Astra's banner, let players pull for Astra. The marketing hype around Astra was that there's going to be more Stars of Lyra characters in the future. There was a trailer, we saw a hat guy, there's Umbrella Girl. I know that we don't have like masses of footage on them, but it kind of felt like they were going to be next, and then the Stars of Lyra faction would continue to develop. But we moved straight on to Obol Squad, which is kind of frustrating if someone pulled Astra with an idea to run a Stars of Lyra team, because now the best you're possibly going to get for a Stars of Lyra team is Astra and Evelyn. And like I said, the release of the drip marketing and waiting until, a couple of days into the banner to let players pull for Astra before they release the drip marketing for 1.6 is scummy. Roles, though, we still have roles and agent types left to fill. It's odd that the characters are covering the same ground again. So we're getting limited S-rank agents after limited S-rank agents that have the same agent typing. We already have an electric attack limited S-rank agent in Haramasa. We already have a limited stun electric character in Chingy. So it just feels like we're covering the same agent types that we already have. And there's so many other options that we could have had. Where are all the ice agents? Where are all the ether agents? What is going on that we can't have them? So I think overall, I'm kind of feeling less hyped about 1.6 than I was about 1.5. It feels like we're just getting what we kind of already have in terms of the agent typing. Now, I do really hope that they work differently, and I'm pleasantly surprised by that. But until we see more info, I'm kind of not that hyped. Not gonna lie, not that hyped. If Trigger was an ice stun, we might be feeling a little bit different. And Anby was an ether anomaly. But what we have, it's more of what we have, right? Again, I hope they work differently. I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. But based on this early thought process, I think the value is actually kind of not that high. Don't get too hyped. See you next time. As always, remember to like and subscribe for better and average luck on all your pulls. Pull responsibly, stay weird. Bye.